Good morning everybody and welcome to my garden. I thought I'd update you with a short video to let you know how things are doing. I've got a sugar snap pea here. This is called Purple Magnolia. I just tried a little wigwam for it to grow up. And over here I have some alderman peas. They're going to grow against the new fence, and they go up to about 6 foot tall alderman. This part here is going to be a herb bed. The last people who were here put membrane down with tons of gravel, so I thought that was a bit of a waste, so I've ripped up the membrane and I've introduced, apart from the cactus, some herbs. This Thai coriander I've left out all winter, and I planted it in March. It seems to have just about survived, so maybe it's a little bit hardier than people think, but that remains to be seen. I'll show you again later in the year. And some mint there. This new part of the garden here is going to be more vegetable plot. So I'm using the no-dig method, so I've just put down some old lino and cardboard and some compost on top. I've actually put some potatoes in there, so that's an ongoing project. I'll take you over to the main plot. Here are some broad beans already in full flower. I planted those last November, so they've just about come through the winter. Some of them I had to take out because they got a bit wind battered, but these seem to be doing okay. And my strawberries, this is their second year, have just started to put on tons of leaves, so I'm very hopeful for that this year. And my shallots. Shallots are a really easy crop. I got a ton of shallots last year, so I recommend just getting yourself a bag of sets and putting them in at the end of February. And they're always a very easy crop to produce. There's a little salad bowl lettuce there. I haven't put that in. That has in fact come up on its own. And there are a few more all dotted around the garden, so I recommend that you allow a couple of your lettuces to self-seed, and you'd be surprised what will actually appear on its own in your garden. There we go, some onion sets there as well. And those tiny seeds that you can see, believe it or not, are self-sown tomatoes. Last year I had a few vines of tomatoes that were self-sown, and I just staked them and allowed them to fruit. I got lots of fruit off them. And if you leave some of the old tomatoes in the soil, this is what happens. You get a ton of tomatoes without needing to grow any on in a warm propagator or anything. There may not be named varieties, but even so, they're free plants. And when they get a bit bigger, I shall just select one or two and stake them up. There's a poached egg flower there, which is good for bringing in the beneficial insects. My standard blackcurrant, full of flower. And there's some garlic there. That's Isle of Wight garlic again, Solent White. And there's another row there. Just before home base closed, I picked up some greyhound cabbage and stuck those in. So that's be a good crop. Over here, I've just planted a perennial cauliflower. Now, apparently, this will last up to about 5 or 6 years and produce heads of mini cauliflowers. So I thought it'd be time to introduce some perennial vegetables. And maybe they'll be a little bit easier than some of the annual ones. There's some spinach there, and again surrounded by a host of tomato seedlings. And this is my discovery apple tree, which is absolutely covered in blossom. I'm going to have to thin the apples when they finally get going. Otherwise I'll have too many on the tree. That's a gooseberry with lots of flower on that. Followed by a raspberry, which has done very well. So I'm hopeful for a good crop of raspberries this year. This is its second year also. Some more strawberries there. And this is a self-sown again perennial rocket, which you can use in salads. A tiny little row of spring onions coming up. The radish next to it. This is my plum tree. It's his first year, I only put it in about 4 weeks ago. So I don't hold much hope of any fruit this year. We'll keep an eye on it. And then I'll take you over here, and I'm very pleased with my cherry bush, which is in its second year, and this is flowering. So I might even get a few cherries off it this year. And there's one next to it as well. Hasn't got so much flower, but really healthy leaves. And over here I have my potatoes in pots. I managed to get some compost off a company to be delivered, as I can't get out to any garden centres at the moment. So that's great because I've managed to earth them up. This is my seed table. Here we have Cavolo Nero kale, which I'm going to put out today actually in the new part of the bed with some straw around. Some more lettuce and some multi-sown carrots and some spring onions, and here we have some cucumbers and more tomatoes. So I'm doing very well. Over here is my bronze fennel, which I'm very pleased with. And some more gooseberry plants I've just shoved in the border. I've got another apple here. That's from a friend's house. It wasn't doing very well around his house, so I brought it here, and it's burst into life and flower. Unfortunately, my peaches this year have got peach leaf curl, so I'm going to see what they do next year. Maybe look at a couple of treatments for them. Otherwise they may have to go. That's my rose. This is a wonderful bee plant, comfrey. So I recommend you get a comfrey. You can use the leaves as a liquid feed if you stew them in water for a month or so. But also packed with flower, and the bumblebees absolutely love it. And got a little blackberry bush just beginning to grow, and some roses. So that's a little quick trip around the garden, and I'll update you again in a month when things are growing further. Thank you.